Ice stop. Ice what?
Whoa, whoa, baby, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.
What is up, everybody? Yeah, we're back again. This is going to be the third video in the past 2 days. I posted the little Purge hype up. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. I think it was a pretty cool idea. And I posted the Houston Texans recap. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that, by the way. So today I thought we'd do something that we used to do last year during the regular season. Clearly, I couldn't really do this throughout the preseason and throughout the offseason because it just didn't really make too much sense. This is the perfect time for the State of the Saints series. Now, if you watched me last year, if you watched my videos last year, you would know that I did a series called The State of the Saints. And pretty much what it was a midweek series, usually on Wednesdays, which today it's on a Wednesday, where I go ahead and I discuss the things that will maybe affect the Saints next week. Talk about the things that need to get better. Talk about the things that were on par with how I wanted them to be. Talk about some things going on with the situations in our team in our next matchup. Some stuff that won't be in the predictions video, but are also very important to the team's value as far as injuries and suspensions and all that cool stuff. So a bunch of stuff as far as like, even standings. We even talk about standings on the State of the Saints series. So it's a bit more loose, it's a bit more relaxed, it's a bit more of a comfortable series where I can talk to you about a lot of the things that are on my mind as far as the team goes, instead of just focusing solely on one game, on predictions and recaps and all that stuff. So this is going to be a pretty fun episode of State of the Saints. This is the State of the Saints heading into Week 2 versus the Los Angeles Rams. And before I get into that, if you guys are going to any NFL games, any concerts, anything this year, go ahead and buy your tickets using SeatGeek. They're the sponsor of this video. Go ahead and use the code NOS, just NOS, my name, for $20 entire off your first purchase. And like I said a million times already, that's just the first purchase, but if you want to make a new account and just do it over again, go ahead and be my guest. That will save you $20 off of whatever game you want to go to. But if you don't want to buy from SeatGeek and you want to buy from somewhere else, that's fine. Probably not what I'm supposed to be saying as an ambassador. I'm probably supposed to be pushing y'all, but you know, everybody has their own preferences, and if that's not yours, that's fine. But the opportunity is there. If you want to get $20 off of any game, use code NOS. But with all of that being said, let's get into some of the topics for today's State of the Saints video, highlighting things that we should be talking about going into Week 2 versus the Los Angeles Rams. Now, one thing I want to talk about that is very, very, very important is the fact that David Onyemata is coming back. I don't know if a lot of you knew this. His presence was very, very, very much missed yesterday as we allowed 180 rushing yards, which is a high. We didn't even allow 80 rushing yards a game last year. It was like 84 or something like that, and we had 80 in the first half. We had 180 allowed total rushing yards. Horrible run defense. Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson had 180 combined rushing yards. Deshaun Watson had some too. Really bad run defense, but we will be getting David Onyemata back, which is one of those anchors of that section of the defense. All we'll be missing after David Onyemata is Sheldon Rankins, but with David Onyemata coming back and replacing Shy Tuttle, Malcolm Brown had some very good pressures, was involved on a few sacks and a few tackle for losses yesterday. Replacing Shy Tuttle will be David Onyemata, and that is going to help our run defense significantly. So don't be too scared about that. We're going to get more pressure on the quarterback this week, I genuinely believe, because David Onyemata, as far as he is overlooked, was a huge force last year. Was he a big numbers guy? No. But I'm telling you, every single play, David Onyemata's his presence was felt. So his one-game suspension is over. We will be getting David Onyemata back. Now, our defensive line did have 6 sacks yesterday, so this could add a sack or 2 to that total. We never know. David Onyemata is a very, 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 very reliable defensive tackle, and having him to replace Shy Tuttle, like I said, is definitely going to be felt. I promise you on that one. One thing we also need to work on that was I didn't really talk about this in the Houston Texans recap video, but we all seen it. The New Orleans Saints were horrible on third down yesterday until the bottom half of the game, and by bottom half I mean the last quarter. Houston converted successfully on 7 of their 13 third down attempts. Now, a lot of you may think that isn't a big deal, but a lot of the third down attempts that they got were like 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, 3rd and extremely long, and the New Orleans Saints were allowing them to convert. A lot of them were really big game-altering third downs. We need to tighten up. Dennis Allen was getting the spooky glare from Sean Payton all night. He knows that when we go and play the Los Angeles Rams next week, if we play and let them get 7 for 13 on third downs, they're going to make us pay. They're going to turn those into touchdowns. It's definitely not a good look. We cannot allow 7 for 13. That is over 50% on third down conversions, especially the third and long situation was ridiculous yesterday. So that is something that will be cleaned up next week. Another thing that was very gleaming this week was that Alvin Kamara is still a monster and can handle the workload. Alvin Kamara had 7 receptions for 72 yards and 13 carries for 97 yards. He did not get in the end zone, but he did so much. He was that guy yesterday. He was the one that when we were backed up in our own territory or we were backed up 3rd and long, he would go and make the plays that nobody else was making. He bailed us out so many times. Alvin Kamara played like an absolute monster. Michael Thomas also showed that he still has the juice. Michael Thomas with 10 receptions for 123 yards. Did not get in the end zone, but that is significant enough for me. Drew Brees was looking at other targets. It's predictable when you throw to Michael every single play, so it's good that we're getting other receivers involved. You should be happy to see that Michael Thomas isn't scoring all of the touchdowns because that just means that our red zone defense or our red zone offense, like I said, was going to improve all offseason is improving. We got other people involved. Taysom Hill caught a touchdown at tight end. Traquan Smith caught a touchdown. As long as we can get Jared Cook involved like I know we can, this offense is going to be unstoppable. So AK-41 and Michael Thomas still have the juice. Now, the standings are very interesting because they haven't really changed too much. As you guys probably know, the Panthers, Falcons, and Buccaneers all lost Week 1, which is a miracle come true and the perfect time for the New Orleans Saints to win their first Week 1 game in 5 years. Who would have thought the New Orleans Saints would win their first Week 1 game in almost half of a decade when the Panthers, Falcons, and Buccaneers all lose? That is perfect. That is a match made in heaven. So we, the New Orleans Saints, were first before we even played. So now that we played, we are 1-0. Also, an interesting statistic about the game yesterday. Bill O'Brien and his crew with the Houston Texans were 32-2. They were 32-2 in games that they went into the half leading by. Now they're 32-3. Just a little note. But the New Orleans Saints 1-0. The second place is the Carolina Panthers 0-1 after their, I think it was 30-27 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. The Falcons lost 28-12 to Minnesota, and the Buccaneers had a really close game with the 49ers that ended up turning into a blowout off of 2 Jameis Winston pick sixes. The Panthers' next matchup is Tampa Bay, and obviously that means the Buccaneers' next matchup is the Panthers. So one of these teams is winning next week. One of the teams within our division, the Buccaneers or the Panthers, are guaranteed a win, most likely the Panthers. So don't expect us, if we lose and go 1-1, we're not safe. We need to get the dub against the Rams while we can. The Falcons' next matchup is Philadelphia. I don't really have much hope for them against that front seven for Philadelphia, especially when their center broke their foot, so we'll have to see. But the New Orleans Saints are currently took an easy Week 1 lead in the standings. Hopefully we can get off to a hot start and solidify ourselves as the number 1 early, because that's something that will definitely help us down the road in case some injuries happen or whatever. We have a few more wins to cushion us. Another thing I want to talk about is the fact that the New Orleans Saints were number 4 on the ESPN power rankings. Now, that's a bit disappointing, but I mean, it's ESPN. What are you going to do? I just wanted to know your guys' opinion on that. What do you think about us being number 4 on the power rankings? I think it's absolute BS. I don't think there are 3 teams better than us. I don't think the Rams or the Chiefs are better than us. I don't think the Cowboys are better than us. I don't think the Eagles are better than us. Colin Cowherd didn't even put us in his top 10 and still put Houston at number 10, even though we just beat them. So a bit confusing of a ride there as far as how the league sees us. It's whatever though, because it's the Saints versus everybody at this point. So go ahead and let me know what you guys think about that. So with Onyemata coming back, our run defense and the pressure we place on Jared Goff should improve. This is definitely a good thing that's happening as soon as we're playing against Todd Gurley. It's going to be very interesting. I think the Saints are looking very, very, very good. The state of the Saints, we're looking fine. Going into week 2, we have a matchup in Los Angeles versus the Los Angeles Rams. Now, this is a game that if we win, puts us in a very, very, very big position because we have another road game against the Seattle Seahawks, who are a potential playoff team, and then we go home and play the Dallas Cowboys. So 3 potential playoff teams in a row. If we can get this win in Los Angeles, it gives us a very big cushion to, maybe drop one of those games if it does have to happen. So hopefully the vengeance from last year, the vengeance factor will kick in, and we will give the Rams what they deserved, and that was another loss last season. So with all of that being said, what do you think? What do you think about the state of the Saints heading into week 2? I think we're looking just fine, even better than last week. I think our defense is going to be more disciplined. I think we're going to be better on third down. I think we're going to be better defending the run. I think we're going to be better at rushing the quarterback. I feel like we're going to put more pressure on Jared Goff. I think we're going to be better defensively all around. I think Marshawn Lattimore and Marcus Williams and all of them, they always start off slow. The first 2 weeks of the season last year were downright horrible. But I feel like just with the amount of stigma and emotion against the Los Angeles Rams, they'll be forced to click. Their dignity will force them to click, and we will get going what we need to get going. That's all I really have to say for this video, guys. What do you guys think about the state of the Saints? Do you think we're looking good? Do you think we're looking bad? Let me know down in the comment section below. Let me know some of the things you want to improve on the New Orleans Saints team. Let me know some things you want us to get better at and what we need to do to win next week. You guys will be getting 2 more videos from me before game day. That is the New Orleans Saints versus Los Angeles Rams as predicted by Madden, and of course my prediction video. So go ahead and let me know down below some ideas if you want anything else during the week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.
Ballin' like Barkley, wrist so sparkly, internet surfing, feel like iCarly.